Hello, this is Robert Feaster. I'm at www.funkyguitar.com. I do lessons either locally or via Skype. And you can check out my YouTube channel right here for some live performances and more instructional material. And today we're going to continue our rhythm lesson. This is going to be a little bit more advanced than the last one. There are two basic strum categories for 4/4 time. And that's what most everything is that you listen to, with a few waltzes aside and slow blueses that are 12/8, but quite a large majority of modern music is in 4/4 time. And the last one we talked about involved Have You Ever Seen the Rain by CCR, and it's a simple-ish kind of strum where the right hand is doing one downstroke per beat. There's the beat right there. Probably can't see it. You might be able to hear my overly heavy foot. Alright, but there's the beat. Now we got the right hand going one downstroke per beat, which means that if you include the upstrokes, you get eighth notes. And that's as fast as you can get with this type of arrangement. Now, if the tempo's really fast, you can strum fast, but you can only get eighth notes. And a lot of slower songs have the second category, which is going to be two downstrokes per beat. So if the beat is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, my right hand's going to go twice as fast. So if I wanted to strum for example, for something like 2 and 3. See, my right hand is going fast, even through the single notes. Even through the single notes. Now, are there going to be exceptions to that? There will be, but you will try to avoid it at all costs. And you would like to keep everything within the framework of the groove unless you absolutely cannot. At the head of this little piece here, I did essentially a drum solo. And I was doing it double time to the beat. The beat was right here. And my right hand was going at this speed, got a bass drum with the bottom strings, got the snare drum with the treble strings, and your basic timekeeping, hi-hat, ride, or whatever, could be in the middle. So the right hand is going double speed of the beat. And we're going to do a song that will utilize that technique. I just explained for that Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here riff that even single notes are going to be used still within the groove. Now with the song we're going to do, there may be a lick here or there. Actually, yeah, the one in between lick. We're going to do Free Ride by Edgar Winter because it's a really cool riff, and it involves chord inversions. And one more thing about the little drum solos. You see people throw triplets in. Now, it sounds kind of cool, but the problem with it is when you do a triplet, especially if you just do a single, it puts you back going the wrong way. So that means you have to use a crude term, guess at what the time is to get back on it, and that probably should be avoided. Doesn't mean you can't do it ever, but you should probably avoid it if you really want the groove to be steady. Now, if you do true triplets, see if I can do this. If you do two triplets, you come back right. A little sloppy, but the hand comes back going the right direction. So you know, if I slowed it down, single triplet. Whoops. Right on the beat, that should have been a downstroke, but notice I'm going up, so that means I have to short circuit my brain and my hand and try to get back on the rails. But if you do two triplets, now you're going back in the right direction. So if you do an even number of triplets, you will fall back on the groove. But if you're doing a groove, triplets, unless the groove is triplets, it usually is not the best thing you can do if you have people dancing, or if you want people to tap their foot or snap their fingers or move their bodies. So avoid it, you know, unless you're really just showing off. All right, so the intro to this tune, and it also happens between the verses and things like that. Etc. That's the part. Does it a bunch of times. All right, now you should have some knowledge of chords. These are all inversions except for the very last one. The first one's a D chord, and if you see it on a chord chart, D D A G D D D G D A, and so you think, oh, okay. Sort of, but not really, right? So we have to get the inversions. The first one's a D chord right here, but we're gonna invert it, and in fact, our ring finger is going to do it for us. We take this part of the D chord, we're going to leave that, but we're going to use our first finger, and we're going to slide our ring finger and catch this part of the D that was over here with our first finger. All right, so that's the first move, and they'll both be downstrokes. I'm not really going to tell you how to play this stroke for stroke, but I will tell you this: if you keep your hand doing exactly what I'm doing right now the whole time, all the strokes will be perfect. So the first move is you slide the A string on the 7th to the 9th fret, and then you catch 3 strings, or 2 is enough, but if you catch that third one, that's fine. Catch those 3 notes right there. Okay, so now, by the way, this is, for you caged people out there, this is the G form, but we're not doing all of it, obviously. Very impractical, but portions of it are extremely useful. Hendrix used it all the time. Okay, so now we go to a C shape, but again, we're not going to do the entire chord. We're just going to take the middle and the ring finger from this 3 notes that we had previously, and we're going to add the ring finger on the 9th fret and the middle finger on the 10th fret. So, and we're going to slide it like we were never even here. So it's a G to an A slide, but there's as little duration as humanly possible on the G chord. That's the move, right? Now, the next chord is the same chord slid right back to the G. You just kind of jump your hand, you don't actually slide. And then you do the D inversion. We're not bothering with the A string, it's just the 3 notes. So we have a D chord, we slide to an A, jump back to a G, the same exact form, and then we take the 2 fingers off, and we have our D chord, which is, again, the part of this G shape. It's the back part of the A shape. Now, the trick is you want to throw, anytime you don't want a note to sound, you need to throw the mutes in. And notice those mutes. It's important that you get 2 treble and 2 bass, because shaka chaka 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 is the sound you're after. So that chaka is on the top and the chuka is on the bottom. So chaka, top, chuka, bottom. The second half starts out exactly the same. Now, instead of a slide to the A chord, we're going to hammer on late. It's a grace note. We're going to hammer on, pretend we made a mistake. It's not. It's, see how it's late? It's late on purpose. That's called a grace note. Then you go back to the back part of the D chord there. Now this comes from this. It's just 3 notes, but it comes right from our A bar chord. It's just the D string, the G string, and the B string. So that's our low A chord. So those are the chords. It's a D, slide to an A, G, and then a D. Same D, inverted, then the G, then the D, and the A. This is the only one that's not an inversion because the root note A is on the bottom. Okay, so very slow. You always count yourself in. 1, 2, and play. Okay, so there's a bunch of those, and after the last one, you're going to rest it. You're just going to keep muting. I mean, if you want to take the keyboard and the bass part, you can play that riff. They might not be happy with you if you do it because that's their little lick. We guitar players have a habit of stepping on people. When we hear something, we got to shove it in there. But if it's somebody else's part, you should let them play it. Now, if there's nobody else playing with you, you can put it in. And again, that's going to be single notes. You're going to strum it. From the A major pentatonic, you're going to put your pinky on that A. So on the 7th fret, it goes 2 of those, then 1 with your index finger on the D string, 4th fret, and then on the A string, 7th fret with your pinky. Notice it all comes inside the strum and nothing is disturbed. So I'll just do the last 2. Da, 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 da. Next part. Don't play that if you have a bass player, please. That's his part. And so if he's not there, just mute through it, right? Just kind of mute through it. And that's his spot, so let him have it.
End of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Ah!